here watches the flash? Well, if you don't, basically it all started when a particle accelerator exploded and changed the DNA sequence of so many people. One of these people was able to run at lightning speed and was named the Flash. Another individual, well, technically two, people became Firestorm. This happened because both of their cells merged together and created one person. Honestly, I never found cells or DNA or biology in general all that interesting until one night at like 4 a.m. You know when you're watching one of those videos and you let it keep playing because you're too lazy to change it? Well, for me, one of those videos was about how cell biology really works, and I kind of played it hoping it would put me to sleep. To my surprise, this documentary was nothing about how I learned cells before. I mean, it was the same material, but it was presented so differently. Like, did you know that cells need to travel at lightning speed to send messages, store food, and so much more? This documentary helps me understand how critical it was to understand our cellular health. I mean, we all want to live a long and healthy life, right? And we're all just trying to figure this out. Well, what if I told you that I figured this out? It's cellular health. Understanding how your cells work and your cellular history is essential to your health. Like, if you imagine your body at a cellular level to be like a test, then knowing about cells is like having all the answers to that test. Now, what is cell biology? Our cells are made up of tiny little microorganisms that make us who we are. They're also the smallest organism that can live on its own. Not only do we have 50 trillion of these molecular geniuses in our body, we also have 200 different types of cells. Cells are the smallest living component in our bodies, yet they are constantly and quietly working away to help us, and we constantly ignore them. They can literally determine our future and help us understand how we became who we are. And when we ignore this, it can make our lives that much harder to live. Our body is like a universe, right? We know so much about it, yet there's still so much more left to discover. And we all know the saying, if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it. So why don't we learn about our history from the start? The more research and the more we learn about our genetic history, the more we can understand our future. Like, we can understand what diseases we may carry to certain disorders we're more likely to get. Now, if we don't spend the time to research this, things can go wrong, like with Angel. Angel is a girl from Las Vegas who felt incredible pain whenever she did exercise. This girl was also a star athlete for her condition. Her muscles hurt so bad that some days she couldn't even walk. And after 9 years of doctor visits and tests, she finally figured it out. It was due to a genetic condition. She was missing one enzyme that made her whole body not work. She had to fly all the way to Italy just to find out the same information she could have found out at a hospital near her. And not only that, but she got drowned in medical debt due to all the doctor visits. Now, obviously that is an extreme case, but it still happens. However, if we do understand our cellular health, we can avoid cancer, boost our immune system, and help avoid horrible fried split ends. Now, you may think I'm joking about this one, but I'm not. If you're a person who uses a lot of chemicals or heat on your hair, you may start to denature the protein enzymes in your hair, so they're permanently changed forever. But depending on your hair type, you can actually reverse this effect so you get your hair back to normal. And let's be real, who doesn't want nice shiny hair? With new technology and discoveries being made every day, we're learning more and more about this hidden world that impacts everything in our lives. And it's not limited to learning about your physical health. It can also help with your mental health by lowering stress levels and anxiety. Other ways this can help is whenever you're sick. If you're one of those people who get sick quite often or you get sick really badly, it might be because you have a weak immune system, which can be fixed, and your body can start to fight back bad bacteria. Also, if you have certain dietary restrictions, this can be replaced with certain medication. Like if you're lactose intolerant, all it means is you're missing one enzyme called lactase. Learning about our health can also help us change any bad genes in our body. Like with certain cells, and a lot of time, we can rearrange our DNA sequence so it can work in our favor. Like with cancer cells. They replicate at twice the speed of a normal cell, so it can spread faster. So why don't we try doing that with our healthy cells? This may sound like science fiction, but this is what we're doing right now. Science has evolved to the point where we have advanced medication, new vaccines, and nanotechnology we could only ever dream of. Like currently, we're experimenting with creating new organs. Today, we have artificial hearts, which people can live off of for about 5 years. Unfortunately, that means you need to get a new artificial heart because your body keeps changing. But tomorrow, we might have imitation hearts that can grow with your body so you won't need to get a new one, and we can save lives every single day. Now, how do we actually find out about our cellular history? There's a lot of different ways we can do this, like get a genetic test which can reveal the change of proteins, genes, or chromosomes, or you can do what I did and do a lot of research and trial and error to see what works. Another fun fact is that we're so close to replicating a fetus by modifying cells. And there are so many good aspects to come out of this, like carrying a child if you're infertile, less chance of diseases, and no hospital time, miscarriages, or trauma. Given the ability to make a human artificially, we need to decide whether we want to or not, and we have to battle the questions of what does it really mean to be human, because eventually someone will want to create spare parts for us. And obviously there are some ethical questions that come up with this, like with donor babies. Should we be allowed to genetically modify a fetus to save a living human being, even though it could harm the fetus after it's born? Or should we be allowed to do biopsies, which can advance genetic mutation because it harms the body, even though the soul has already left it? There's so many more issues that come up with this, but for me at least, the end results make the way we get to them a little bit better. There will always be people who bring up challenges, concerns, or issues that may happen, and we need them to think them through thoroughly and see all the potential challenges and set up ideal ways to help people. Like, I could study a subject for years on end and think I know every single aspect about that subject, but the moment I speak to someone else with a different mindset, they could come up with a million different answers and issues that could come up with it simply because I'm from a particular context, time, and culture I wouldn't have even thought of. As you can see, cellular health is complex and can do a lot of good, but it can also do a lot of damage. And I think one thing we can all agree on, though, is that we need to start paying more attention to it. As you can see, the cellular world is a universe in itself. Understanding how cells work gives us the power to plan our own lives on the way we want to live them. Diseases, miscarriages, and other challenges could be eradicated, and a lot of these issues could be prevented with simple life modifications. Like choosing to eat an orange can influence your gut health. If your stomach already produces too much acid, eating an orange can increase that acidity and be expressed as pain. If you understand what is happening at a cellular level, you can avoid that pain and take control over something that might have initially seemed random. But you can only do this if you pay attention to your cellular health. Thank you.